Yes, so much have been said and heard about fermented foods. And of course, it's assumed we all know what fermented foods are. Fermented foods are foods that have been allowed to stay some nights, and then bacteria acts on it, and most of the time they smell like, have one kind of smell like our iru. You see the yogurt, okwe, different regions, they have different fermented foods. But that's not the purpose of this video. A few days ago, a video also was made from this channel regarding papaya, yes, fermented papaya, the green papaya. And I believe some of you are already testing it out. A good number of us, once we hear that a food is good, is this, is that, we just rush into it and start testing out the remedy. And most times, some of us are even on medication. And some of the remedies may even interact with these medications. The examples are blood thinners. Most of the foods that we talk about, the spices, the seeds, like ginger, garlic, cloves, a good number of them are blood thinners. And some of us are also on blood thinning medications, especially those on blood pressure, lowering on medications for blood pressure. Most times they are also giving blood thinners. And so it is not proper that you should jump on any medication you see. Any remedy, you see online. It has this benefit, it has these benefits. The next minute, you're on it. If you have been doing that, stop. Sometimes you may need a guide. You may need to be guided. Because you may not always be lucky. Sometimes, some of them may interact, leading to complications, emergencies, or sometimes even an accident. Yes, an accident could occur. And the person may make it or may not. And so I want to share here briefly some of the other sides of fermented foods. Just a few of it, not much. Why? Because every good food, everything that we say has benefit, has also some ugly sides, especially when you take it too much. Yes, anything can be too much, including the healthy foods. Protein can be too much. And when protein is too much, it's even worse. I'll give you an example. Some of you are going through painful joints, bone-related issues, serious pains and inflammations. A good number of them are caused by too much protein in the diet. They get into your bones, start causing pains like beans. And ignorantly and innocently too, they are still consuming the same food, because our people believe so much that beans is the only source of protein, and so they continue to eat it. Because of course protein is good and we need protein on a daily basis. It is a building block. And so because of this, they continue to eat it. And by so doing, they're feeding that disease. Because every disease needs to be fed. Yes, every disease needs to grow. And what it needs to grow is food. Most time is sugar. But not only sugar, but also that thing that caused the disease, that triggered it. It will need further supplies of it for it to continue to escalate. And so if you have watched that video, or you have heard some of the benefits of fermented foods, and you are already on it, for instance, there are some ugly sides. Those those people who are going through high blood pressure, for instance, if you take that fermented papaya water, especially in the evening, if you take it in large amount, it's not going to be very pleasant for you. Yes, because of the way it behaves in the body, because of the nature of the nutrients in it. Something that we say it heals stomach ulcers. guess what? It will have some deposits. That's those live cultures, live bacteria that is going to drop to cover the wound, to erase the thickness. And naturally thinking or speaking, you will not expect that that kind of food, when eaten in large amount, is going to favor someone with high blood pressure. That's exactly what I'm trying to bring out here. And so some of you, immediately you hear those things, oh, it's an immune booster, we know. It aids digestion. Yes, it's good. It helps kill off some intestinal parasites. Very good. It's an anti-aging drink. Wonderful. It supports your eyes. Good. So after going through all of these benefits, it's proper sometimes to be guided again. Seek counsel or go for further findings, because such food, for instance, especially after going through fermentation, you don't need to take it in large amounts. I have also received some reports some time ago about foods like that. Not one report, not two. And most of these ones are also on blood pressure medications. Some of them took the fermented papaya water in large amounts, and they called me reporting of one symptom or the other. Of course, when you stop and take enough water and stop that food, it's going to stop. But if you are going through high blood pressure or manage high blood pressure, you must be also cautious with too much consumption of certain remedies. I give you example is this particular one, because it's going to be behaving in a way as if it's raising your blood pressure. It's dropping something in the body. That's exactly what we're saying. It's dropping a few live bacteria, and it is these live bacteria that are going to strengthen your gut health and then help to cover the wounds, the ulcer wounds, which we say that it also supports the healing of stomach ulcers. So something that is going to cover a wound, for instance, obviously is going to need a little layer up top of the wound. And those people who are going through high blood pressure, I don't think they need things like that, things that behaves like that. And so when you take it, not to say you should avoid, but you should take cautiously in order not to miss out on the benefit. You can take a few spoons and give yourself some gap. Don't just start taking it because you heard it's so good, it's so wonderful, it does this, it does that, and then you go and take a full glass of it and say it's a natural drink, it's going to do nothing. They have power too. Every good food has its own ugly side if you take it in large amount. And so if you're on medication, for instance, don't just rush any remedy you see. I use this as an example. It has a lot of benefits that sounds so attractive that you may not even want to bother. But if you are on medication, I advise you to be very, very cautious with foods like that. You sit down and think of it, or you seek further counsel or advice or coaching, for instance. Again, there is an aspect of fermented foods. If you have skin problems, for instance, if you suddenly discover, or maybe you have been taking fermented foods, using it for swallow, I've heard people with different reports, don't take too much of it, because it may later show up on your skin as a skin related issue. And if you're already going through